Welcome to the AR Performance Squash Advantage, hosted by me, Ahad Raza, a former PSA touring pro turned elite performance mentor and coach. I break down tactics, technique, fitness, and mindset by analyzing players from the past and present, both men and women. I aspire to teach, empower, and guide transformation. Let's get started. Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're going to break down the tactics from the two quarterfinal matches that PSA Squash TV has put up for us on YouTube between Tarek Momen and Gawad Marche and Karim Abdel Gawad and Gawad Coll. First things first, as always, if you're enjoying these videos, please give it a thumbs up, please share them, please subscribe to the channel, and share your comments. I love the discussion that we're having and we're all learning and growing together. So please keep that up. It's amazing. It makes me really happy, seriously. So first things first, like I said, let's cover a little review of coaching points or learning points. And today I'm taking a slightly different approach to it. There are obviously similarities between each match, but I'm writing the points out in a slightly different way, hoping that if it hasn't quite clicked, this helps click it in a different way. So number one, minor restrictions have massive impacts. And specifically, I'm talking about Gawad. He's had some issue with his heel and his foot, and he obviously can't move as efficiently, as effectively as he used to be able to. We can see that in the match. He's giving up on certain points. He gives up at the end. So something that we often take for granted, just as like physical fitness and mobility, has a massive impact, and that impact gets exacerbated or magnified the higher we go in level. The second thing I want to talk about, and I would encourage you to try and look for in the video, is the power of patterns and holds. So a bunch of the players over here do this really well. You're going to see Momen and you're going to see Gawad and even Coll at times set up with different shots from the same position, but they add the hold to it. So now what you're going to see is in the front corners, these guys are going to be playing straight drops. And then what they do is they show the straight drop with a little hold and lure the opponent forward. The opponent has to commit their momentum forward. And then by showing the drop and holding and then punching it either deep or across or a trickle boast, suddenly the opponent has a ton of momentum going into the front corner, and then they have to rejig their movement, which is a lot of work. And if you hit a high enough quality shot, it's almost impossible to recover from that position if it's executed well enough. The second thing you're going to notice, which is similar, is this idea of the power of options and variety. So by showing that Momen or Coll or Gawad or Marche can hit the straight drop from the front right, for example, by showing that they can hit a trickle boast from the front right, for example, by showing that they can hit the cross or the straight or the lob or whatever it is, by showing that and then putting together point number two, by adding a hold to it, all of a sudden they've elevated everything to the next level. So when you think about your own game, step one is to obviously just be able to execute multiple shots from one position as consistently as possible. And always remember, when it comes to learning and developing your game, the goal is to do it with no pressure first. So that would be simple solo feeds. Then you do it with a little bit of pressure, which could be even just someone else feeding you and you know where the ball is going, or doing a pattern drill with someone like a boast drive where you know exactly where the ball is coming every single time. And then you add a little bit of variety, and then you integrate it into the full game, and then it comes out in your actual match play. So always remember that progression, and don't try to jump from learning it in solo and then implementing it in a match and getting frustrated, because that's unrealistic. The next point number 4 on the screen, is that nothing makes up for grit. And all of the top players, you notice, just they hustle, they work. You see Gawad Marche just chasing down balls. You see Gawad doing it to the best of his ability, even though his heel is a little bit messed up. You see Tarek Momen chasing down balls, and most of all, you see Gawad Coll never giving up. And this ties back to the power of fitness. There are better ways to do fitness than others, and if you guys want to talk about fitness, leave a comment and I'd happily create a video. Suffice to say that it takes a ton of off-court work to build the level of strength, stability, mobility, flexibility, speed, agility, all of these things. It takes so much effort to do that. But other than just the physical element, knowing that you're fit adds such a big mental edge, and I'm sure you've all experienced that as well. So it's just something that we take for granted when we watch these top players, at least I do sometimes, but it's so much effort, and the mental edge that it brings is intense as well. Now, the next thing, and this is the last point I'm going to emphasize, is that you're going to notice subtle differences between the top players and the next tier. So in this case, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but Gawad Marche is slightly below the level of the other players in today's video. And you're going to notice that he's not able to execute as consistently, as accurately as the top players are. And that is one of the biggest differences between the guys that are top 5 and the guys that are 15 to 20, for example. It's fractional, it's marginal, but it is enough that it adds up over time. And if you apply the same thing to yourself, if you're part of a league at your club and you're in the second level from the top, the thing that probably differentiates you from the people at the top of the level, top of the league, are going to be the fact that they can hit their length slightly more consistently and slightly more accurately than you. They don't hit the tin as much as you do. They don't force silly boasts, as an example, as often as you might. They don't hit the serve out as much as you do. They don't overhit their length as much as you do. These are the sorts of things. And similarly, if you compare yourself to the people that are one level below you, the opposite is going to hold true. So keeping those things in mind, let's jump into the highlights. And again, thank you to Squash TV, and God bless YouTube for making this available to us for free and easily. So the first one we're going to check out is Paul Coll and Gawad. And again, you see the players hitting their targets into the back of the court. Gawad is moving Coll, getting him into the front corners, the back corners, and there was a change of pattern. So this is early in the match. Gawad is up 5-0, and presumably at this point he gets the opening. He's probably been hitting length so far. At least in this rally we saw that he was hitting the cross court to the back of the court, and then all of a sudden he changed the pattern. He also, see, this is the thing, you see Coll's momentum going forward, but then Gawad actually hit the cross kind of coming a little bit deeper. Because Gawad is known to go for the cross court nick from here, and he's shown that, maybe he's already done it in these first 5 points. We don't know because it's a highlight. Coll's instinct is to move this way, but he's moving forward and the ball's coming across, and you see he had to take that one little step to change his momentum from going forward to then going left. But here's the beauty. Check that target out. Gawad's second bounce is dead in the nick along this side wall, and Coll actually overran it. He got a little bit too close to the wall over here, but you see that Gawad's target was perfect. So let's keep going from here. You see it from the other angle. There it is. The threat of the cross-court nick made that possible. That was the pattern, breaking the pattern and having multiple options. So that's something I want to call out really quickly. It's something that most amateurs don't do. Did you notice where Paul Coll served? His serve is aimed at Gawad's body. If Gawad does not move back, that ball would have hit him. And truthfully, I've caught a lot of high-level juniors with this serve as well. So if it's something that you've never tried, give it a try the next time you step on court. If you manage to hit it accurately, you might just win a free point because your opponent's not going to see it and they're not going to be able to move. Gawad obviously is too good for that. Oh, that was nice. See, here's the thing. So Coll gave that nice little tricky serve. Gawad got the ball to the back. Little bit of pressure, not a ton of pressure, truthfully. Coll tries to go cross, but he doesn't hit that nearly as effectively as he could be. And again, over here, you see Coll's momentum is going forward because Gawad has a tendency to play that straight drop. So again, the fact that he's shown that straight drop, the fact that Coll knows in his mind that he's screwed because he's hit a really loose ball and he has to cover that front court, Coll has to push forward. Gawad knows this, and he ends up hitting the ball deep, which means Coll now has to run around Gawad and then go pick that ball up. And in that case, there was some contact, but Gawad he didn't do anything. He just stood totally vertically. It was Coll's loose ball that created that interference, so that would never be a let in that situation. So clearly from the score, Gawad came out firing in this first game, probably because he knew that he had to come out strong because his heel wouldn't let him play for too long. Now Gawad's attacking from the back. That counter drop is just a little bit too loose from Coll, and that's going to be the stroke in favor of Gawad. Nice lob, nice use of height. That ball is coming in the back. Gawad is attacking from the back, forced to defend. That's an early volley by Coll. Continues with the pressure. Gawad is retrieving well, being forced to lift, trying to use height. And see, now Coll reset the rally there because he lost the advantage. So I just want you guys to notice this, because we've talked about this idea of respect and reset. So Coll has Gawad under a lot of pressure, but see, now Gawad got his length to the back of the court. It was tight early on and it's gotten deep, so now Coll has to reset that. He's respecting it and resetting it. It's like the boxer analogy. He's put his jabs in and then he's resetting, because there's no point forcing it, because that's where you can get knocked out as well. See, we're back into this jockeying for position after putting the work in. Go, there it is. And see, this was effective for a couple of reasons. Now, Paul Coll, if many of you know his game, from this position, he loves to hit that straight drop shot because he hits it so accurately. Even though he doesn't hold typically, over here he did hold a little bit and then went cross. Typically he doesn't even hold, but it's so accurate that players have to cover this. And the second part with that is that Gawad's heel is a little bit messed up, so he probably doesn't want to waste the energy and the impact on his leg of having to hold his position and make a really explosive movement. So he is just going for that drop, which would be a pretty good guess because Paul Coll loves to hit that drop. So smart for Coll, knowing that he's developed that weapon, knowing that people look at him as being effective in that front corner, and then changing the direction. That's a nice lob from Gawad to change direction. And then another hold there. Coll's having to do a lot of defending. And wow, let's see. Here's the grit piece that I was talking about. So now check this out. I'm going to show you guys something interesting here. I know I'm rewinding a lot because there's just so much quality here. This is going to be a long video. So Gawad uses a lob actually to apply pressure. I don't know how many of you guys use lobs to apply pressure, but that's a pretty highly skilled shot. Forcing the loose ball from Coll. So now remember, front right, mid right. What does Gawad hit? He shows like he's setting up for a big kill, and then he hits the ball deep. Paul Coll's momentum is going forward because he's expecting a kill or a cross-court nick or something, and then has to push back. Once he pushes back, he's forced to play a defensive boast. Gawad is again in that front right corner. Last time he hit the ball deep. This time he plays another option with the trickle boast. So now he's just hit 2 shots from that same position. Gets on the ball early, plays that drop, and now again on this forehand, this time the right shot, again hitting to open space, if you look at basic tactics, would be anywhere on this right side of the court because Coll is stuck beside and behind him on the left side of the court. So over here, Gawad could hit a punishing drive that goes second bounce into the back right corner. He's super confident with his short game, so he elects for going short and hits that nice drop to put that ball away. And actually, we noticed Coll was actually coming behind him with his movement. So if Gawad hit the drive, Coll would have probably gotten it. So kudos to Gawad for kind of feeling where Coll was going and playing that drop shot. And see, Coll is behind, well, not here. And Coll is behind him, so Gawad plays short. That was really good. So we got more jockeying for position. Getting on the ball early with the threat. And again, smart shot, hitting to open space when Gawad is stuck behind him. Similar concept to the one we just discussed a moment ago. You'll see it again. See, Gawad is stuck behind him. Nice and simple to the open court. Again, more jockeying for position as always, setting up with the length. Nice working boast by Gawad, and then finishing that. Coll did the right thing by using height. 2 things. Gawad was going for it regardless, and Coll's ball could have been a little bit wider, a little bit higher potentially, so it would be even harder for Gawad, and he wouldn't have that option. But Gawad was going for that no matter what. That's a nice volley. Nice defending by Coll. And then puts it in. Gawad is trying to do a little bit too much. So that was good relentless pressure by Paul Coll at the end there. Let's see if we see a replay. So yeah, Coll's lob forces the loose ball from Gawad. Coll attacks it. Gawad can't get it. Nice change of direction. More changes of direction, and it's dead in the back. See, these guys are changing direction. So this is one thing I'll point out quickly. These guys are changing the direction by hitting cross courts, but their cross courts are hitting their targets behind the service box, hitting the side wall. So it's not in volley reach. What a lot of amateurs do is that they force cross courts when they should actually be hitting straight. And because they're forcing the cross court out of weak positions, the balls end up coming through the middle of the court, which ends up being perfect volley zone for drops or kills or whatever your opponent likes to hit. And then you're just under a tremendous amount of pressure. So let's keep going. So see, Gawad tries to change the angle, but it's a bit loose. He's using height. And this is where it comes down to the movement piece. You can see Gawad is physically struggling a little bit. And because he's not able to get on the ball as early, as quickly, he doesn't want to lunge and stretch as much. He's being forced to lift a lot to buy time in the game. See, now he's trying to change the angle. Yeah, it's unfortunate, truthfully, because Gawad is such a talented player, and being unable to move is really tricky. Well, I'll point this out quickly, and maybe if I remember, I'll link to this at the top. What you'll see here is that defensive drop that I broke down with Joel Macon. Look what Paul Coll does. Look how high that ball hits the front wall. He's not even trying to hit a lob. He just wants to get that ball on the front wall, get out of the way, try to buy himself time. Gawad was not having any of it. He jumped on it super early. And this is Coll's grit now. Just chasing. Using height to try to slow things down. And then that's a nice drive by Gawad. The kill, it's a cross-court kill. And check this out. You can see when you watch it in real speed that he really put a lot of force into that shot. And then look at that target. Second bounce. Dead in the sidewall behind the service box. So literally no chance. What a lot of amateurs, truthfully, I've done this many times as well. We get into this position, we crush the ball, and a lot of top players do this too. We crush the ball and we overhit it, which actually totally eliminates the pressure from our opponent, and we actually end up spending a ton of energy hitting that ball. So this is fantastic accuracy on Gawad's side. It's just perfect. And here Coll serving for match ball. Obviously Gawad's physical limitations, and there he didn't even go for it. It's a little bit difficult in that situation. Okay, let's move on to Momen and Marche. A few more minutes. This is getting long. That's good width by Momen, not allowing Marche to volley the ball because he wants it. Marche is using height. Nice short kill. That was awesome. See, Marche, he defended well, and then he got in a position where Momen was stuck behind him. So check this out. So Momen has Marche under pressure. So Marche attacks first. See, Marche is going for that volley, but Momen gets it just wide enough, forcing Marche into the back. Forces the loose ball out of Marche. The right shot, Marche is stuck behind Momen. The right shot is to hit to the open space over here. That's exactly what Momen does. Marche has to do a ton of work, gets that lob up. Momen is rightfully hunting the ball. And what's the furthest point from the front left is the back right. So he tries to go there, but he hits it a little bit loose because Marche actually got enough height on the ball. So this could be an example potentially where you could talk about respect and reset, where Marche had done enough on that lob to maybe just get Momen to reset that ball instead of trying to continue to apply relentless pressure on him. And because of that, now Momen is stuck behind Marche. Marche plays that short straight kill quite effectively, fading into the side wall. Nice turnaround on that. It's a lot of hard work as well though, and that adds up. Moment's changing directions, using the holds from the front of the court, hitting to the open space. Marche, again over there, used that defensive drop we talk about, giving himself time. And here we see the players once again, in a sense, reset in the rally. Oh, that's a nice straight from Momen. Nice hold over there. Marche is doing a ton of work, but defended effectively there. Back to jockeying for position. Nice change of direction, and good clean hitting through the court. And there's the tough attack. Another defensive drop. Oh, this is hard work. And actually all of that hard work that Marche is doing forced that error from a position that he would most likely never make an error from there. That's a nice kill. There it is. There you go. Marche's cross is just a bit short there. See, he's going for the cross court, but did you see where it landed? So let's check it out. So Momen hits a nice, the ball's, it's relatively tight, but look how far it's come back. Marche's just behind the service box. That's an example of overhitting the length. But Momen's on the tee. Marche hits the cross. We see the cross bounces here, and Momen's hitting it from just behind the service box. So I'll just try and remember, anytime the ball's taking its first bounce, kind of in this service box region or just before the service box, that's kind of like a no man's land shot. Your opponent's going to be getting the ball in the service box or right behind the service box, which is actually taking time, not giving you very much time, and is putting more pressure on you. And then Momen plays that straight kill, glues it to the side wall, and that's it. Here we are in game 2. See, now here's an example of the difference in levels. So you see when Momen attacks, the balls are short and tight, generally speaking. Now Marche is playing the ball here, and look how far back his drop shot has come. Momen is literally playing it like one step off the tee. And now look at Momen's drop shot, and Marche has to stretch all the way into the front of the court over here. And then Momen gets on it early, making Marche do a ton of work. Here we go, jockeying for position again. Oh, right on the volley. So Marche actually got the lucky bounce in the back corner, forcing Momen into this boast over here. And then check out, Momen didn't even go to the right. Before Marche has even hit the ball, he's automatically going to the left. This could be for several reasons. Either Momen guessed, and he guessed correctly, or Marche has not hit enough into this front right corner, or he hasn't hit the straight drive out of this front right corner enough, and Momen automatically in his brain processed, chances are he's going to go cross. I'm going right away for that ball. And notice how he steps forward. This is a very tough shot to execute. It needs a lot of skill, but he's stepping forward. Look at that. Look at that angle of his. It's literally like diagonal forward. Most players go across. Most amateurs go back. He's going forward, and then he's using his forearm and his wrist to snap that ball through the court. And the execution on it is fantastic as well. That's a highly skilled shot, and it's great reading, probably based on patterns. Nice. And did you notice he didn't just flick? He snapped with a short swing, but then he went through the ball as well, because he needed to extend that to get the line on the shot. Always remember that. Even if you're taking a shorter swing, you still need to extend the follow through so that you can get that trajectory of the ball. Here we go, the classic jockeying for position on the tee, changing directions. There's another change of pattern by using height, and that's a nice execution by Marche. So check this out for a second. So Momen uses height to change the pattern of play, not just direction but pace as well. And what does that do? Look how loose the ball is coming back from Grégoire Marche, but then Momen hits an equally loose ball back, and in this case Marche executes with the same accuracy that Momen and the top players consistently execute with. That's tight. That's a nice counter. And right there, that Momen had a hold, another hold. So check out this hold from Momen over here. He gets onto this ball, He plays one counter drop on the forehand side, and then from here he has the hold and then goes cross, and then from there he shows the straight drop again. And here's that straight drop, and Marche is coming in because he sees a straight drop, and then the last second there's that cross court. You can't leave a person who's as skilled as Tariq Momen that loose in that front right corner, because he has endless options with a hold. It's like you're screwed. You have no chance. It's a guessing game. So again, the classic jockeying for position, getting the ball to the back, forcing a loose ball ideally. See, look how far forward Grégoire Marche had to pick up that counter drop, or that drop by Momen. Oh, that's a tough attack. Great execution from Momen. He's moving backwards, momentum's going back, and he's hitting down and keeping the ball tight. Check that out. That was impressive. Nice width preventing the volley. Working both by Marche, forces the loose ball. Nice early volley by Marche to apply pressure, and a great drop shot to finish it. Here's match ball for Tariq Momen, putting in that tight drop. Nice counter by Marche, another tight counter by him, and hits to the open court. Marche is hustling, and there's that exact same hold that we saw earlier, where he has so many options in this front corner. Just from here, show the drop, Marche's momentum is moving forward, and then use the forearm to hit the ball across at the last second. And that's Tariq Momen winning that match 3-0. So there you have it, folks. I'm not going to dive into a recap. There is way too much to cover. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like, please share it with your friends, and definitely leave a comment so that we can continue our discussion. I'll see you in the next video tomorrow based on the second half of the quarterfinals. Have a good one, everyone, and we'll chat soon.